It's me, Ari does it. You can call me Rashid if you want. Look, have you ever watched a horror movie or any scary movie in general? And the character in the movie was about to do something, and you could already see that doing this could lead to a bad outcome. For example, it can be in a horror movie. There is this monster in a wardrobe, and the individual hears a sound in the wardrobe and about to open it. And you think in your head, please don't open that wardrobe. Or there is this creepy serial killer going around. And in the movie, you saw the creepy serial killer with a mask walking towards a door. And now the bell rings, and this woman's about to open the door. And you think to yourself, don't open the door. We all had such moments with movies. Or maybe it was that in a movie, there was an opportunity. Let's say there was a guy was in love with a woman, and he had the perfect opportunity to tell her. And you think, dude, tell her right now, this is your opportunity. And you get disappointed when the character doesn't do it. Well, that's just how it goes in movies. You tend to be disappointed in certain scenes, and other things you think, whoa, why did the character do this? This is a bit horrible, but okay. That's in movies. But let me tell you, in real life, we tend to behave the same way as those characters in those movies, especially when it comes to danger. Look, as a human being, you cannot prevent every bad thing from happening around you. That's not possible, and not even God expects you to do that. You don't have the ability to even do that to begin with, not even if you wanted to. And even if you could, it's not always wise to prevent every bad thing from happening, because sometimes you have to let things go wrong so people realize we need to improve. If you bail out people from every bad outcome all the time, they may mistakenly think everything is fine if it's you that's bothering them. But if you just allow certain bad things to happen to them, they will realize, okay, I need to be better. Now, I'm not saying you should neglect people. You should intervene where possible. You should. What I'm saying is, God Himself does not prevent every bad thing from happening to us, because if we would do that, then we would operate in a false reality in which we think everything is fine. And we would end up in worse situations if God would do that. So the idea to stop every bad thing around you, get it out of your head. It's not going to happen. What you can and should do is be ahead of every bad thing that can possibly happen. Now look, this is what I'm talking about in this video. We should be ahead of every bad thing and tragedy in the world by having a constructive, positive, Christ-centered attitude all the time. By having this attitude, we are more alert and more realistic about our surroundings, and we tend to examine people better. Look, there is no danger, there's no physical danger happening on the earth without warning symptoms ahead. There's always some dark electric charge in the Earth's atmosphere before something horrible happens physically. Now, can it happen that something suddenly overwhelms you? Yes. Sometimes it happens, so don't blame yourself. It happens from time to time. But even then, if you are ahead of whatever bad thing can happen, you're better prepared and the outcomes will not harm you. The reason why so many believers are harmed continuously is because they're not walking in the resurrection power of Christ. And how come they not walk in the resurrection power of Christ? Simply said, they have satanic doors that are open in their life. Now, what is a satanic door? A satanic door is symbolic for any opportunity the paranormal and society have to hinder you or take advantage of you. Any opportunity in your life for the paranormal, that means evil spirits, or society, that means the world, to take advantage of you and or hinder you, that is a satanic door. Let's say you have a job, a 9 to 5, but you already know this job is temporary. All right, it's a temporary thing for now. It's exhausting, but for now it's necessary. I'm looking for better students. If that's your attitude, man, you're quite healthy. Okay? But if you think you had, man, I'm secure now with this full-time job, let me just relax, I'll see which opportunity will come. Before you know it, you're 10, 20 years further, still at that 9 to 5 job, and you've been exhausted all the time, and you've missed out on many opportunities in life. And others miss out on you too. So you've sabotaged both yourself and other people who would have met you and benefited from your presence. So that attitude of just settling for that 9 to 5 job, it was a satanic door, and it harmed you. Another thing, let's say you have a parent or a grandparent, but let's say a parent that has a bitter negative attitude. Anytime you talk to your mom or dad, when you stop talking to them, you feel a bit heavy. At some point, you need to realize, hold on a minute, my parents are toxic. My parents bring harm to me in the long run if I keep talking to them. Even if my parents are not evil people, even if they're not narcissists, the fact they are in this long-term dysfunction means that their damaged states can also damage me. It doesn't mean they're bad people that intend to harm me, but their damaged states they're in can also damage me as collateral damage. So you can end up as collateral damage because of your parents being in a damaged state they don't want to face. Maybe your father left you and your mom never got over it. Or maybe your father has some ex-girlfriend that did him dirty and before you met your mom and he's still bothered by it. Or maybe one of your parents was sexually molested as a child and they never really recovered from that or processed it, whatever it is. Look, if your parents are narcissists or they're evil, absolutely should move away from them. But even if your parents are not bad people, they can be in a damaged state that indirectly can also damage you. So in this case, you need to admit, if your parents are in a damaged state that they are not willing to face now, or they're slow in facing, listen. As long as they're in the damaged state, they are a satanic door for the world and demons to take advantage of you and to hinder you. So, for example, let's say your mom called you. After your mom called you, you felt so drained and exhausted. Because of that stress, you couldn't sleep well. You're late for work the next day. And now your employer made a note of you. So now you have contention at work because you arrived late. But this contention would have never happened if you were able to sleep well last night. How come you couldn't sleep well last night? Oh, you had this call with your mom, and after the call you felt drained. You see what I mean now? Your mom became the portal to cause financial difficulty for you at work. You see what I mean? And you notice that after you finish talking to your mom, you feel so drained often. So now you need to understand this woman has become a portal used by the paranormal or by society to hinder you. You hear me? So you have to close that satanic door. How do you close the door? You peacefully decline the phone calls of your mom. You don't fight her, you don't argue with her, you don't blame her. Whether she's to blame or not doesn't matter. You do things in a peaceful way and you decline calls and you limit contact you have with her. Then the satanic door is closed. Because one thing you need to understand, you don't need to have satanic doors open to face retaliation or persecution. It will happen anyway. Jesus went through all of that and he had no satanic doors around. So even without satanic doors, you will go through difficulty in life. The thing is, a satanic door keeps difficulty there. A satanic door makes it easy for you to be troubled. Look, just because you will face difficulty in life doesn't mean you have to welcome and condone and approve and support all difficulties that are thrown your way. No, if difficulty appears, you deal with it in a constructive way and things are resolved with the help of the Holy Spirit. Simple as that. If people around you don't want to comply with solutions, you move away from them because then you can continue with them. Simple as that. But you're not going to keep yourself in a damaged state. Too many believers keep themselves in a damaged state because they keep those satanic doors open. Okay, maybe it is that you tend to go into defense mode anytime you feel uncomfortable. When you were a child and you were overwhelmed by people mistreating you or by people neglecting you, you went into this defense mode and it helped. You forced people around you, especially the adults, to consider you. So it was a survival mechanism you had, this shooting into the defense. But now you're a grown man or a grown woman, shooting into defense can trigger conflict and it will make you look bad, like you have a bad temper or whatever. So, or you have an anger problem or whatever. So that shooting into defense, it was a survival mechanism that worked for you. You should have never had a survival mechanism to begin with, never. But you had no choice when you were growing up. But now you're an adult, you have an option. You need to unlearn and process this survival mechanism. If you need to go into therapy, go into therapy. If you need to meditate more, you meditate more. If you need to spend some more time on your own, you do that. Praying, fasting, all of that. Close that satanic door. Don't excuse yourself when you notice a long-term dysfunction in you, because that long-term dysfunction in you will eventually keep you and others in danger. So you end up becoming a collaborator of evil if you don't deal with the long-term dysfunction, because that dysfunction is dysfunction, it has to be dealt with. Look, what I'm telling you is that too many believers, they keep themselves in a damaged state for years, sometimes even decades, and they miss out on better. Some women miss out on potential good husbands. Why? Because they had a lustful flings with some of their ex-boyfriends. They weren't willing to be sexually disciplined. They just wanted to be at ease sexually. So a guy looked nice, a guy was handsome, they got the urge to open their legs, they did it. Nobody could stop them, was their quote-unquote private lives, and guess what? Those sexual encounters damaged them psychologically. So later in life, when good men walked by them, quality men, they didn't even notice were quality men because they were so psychologically damaged by their past sexual encounters. So in this case, who harmed these women? Now, society has a role in it for wrongly informing women about sexuality. That's true. Demons have a role in it, absolutely, because demons take advantage of your bad state. But here's the thing. They opened that satanic door by them just wanting to escape sexually or just want to be left alone and have sexual ease. They opened the door. They're the ones that put the makeup on, went on the date. They're the ones that text the guy, went to his house. They're the ones that spread their legs. They're the ones that did activity. They're the ones that kept doing it. So they opened that satanic door that eventually blocked quality men from connecting with them. So later, when they did meet quality men, now that extra difficulties to process. And that turns some of those men off. Can you blame those men? No. But it still happens to men. Some men even hinder themselves from encountering quality women who are wife potential because they don't want to let go of an ex-girlfriend or whatever. Because either the sex felt so good or she always was exciting, whatever. Whatever the excuse is, they knew better, but because there was ease there, they hang onto the ease. So they kept a satanic door open that eventually ruined their lives. Some men even faced felony charges because the woman lied on them that he sexually aroused her. Well, guess what? If he would have paid attention to his intuition, he would have realized his woman is bad news, and he would have avoided her, and he wouldn't have had this felony charge. But now he has to look at a felony charge that took years to get erased. You see what I mean? When you open a satanic door, or when you keep a satanic door open, it will always come with some sorrow that will haunt you. And that sorrow will block any good outcome in your life. So, believers, and especially you saints, close that satanic door. And listen, let's say now you're on the bus on your way home, and someone keeps looking angry at you. Someone begins to cuss you out. Someone even spits on you or whatever. You think, hey, I'm not going to take this. I need to deal with you. No, 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 no. That individual is likely demon possessed, and the demons are using them to trick you into unrest. And once you're in unrest, you may end up fighting back, end up being arrested by the police, or even if it's self-defense and you're not arrested by or the police let you go, listen, you're still associated with a bad outcome. That harms your reputation, and because you're associated with a bad outcome, some people may be hesitant to be associated with you. And that's how you can miss out on jobs, miss out on maybe dates, you can miss out on business opportunities. So you being associated with a bad outcome alone can cause you to miss out on things in life. So when you were tricked into this unrest, is a satanic door presented unto you. Don't open the door. And that's the thing with us. Or let's say now you are going through a rough time in your life, and suddenly some of your old buddies or some of your relatives that you haven't spoken to for a while suddenly begin to contact you. You're just going through a transition in your life, and these people who don't serve the Heavenly Father, these people who are still in long-term dysfunction suddenly begin to call you. Of course you're happy, they ask how you are, they want to look after you, but listen, even if these people don't mean you any harm, they are long-term dysfunctional, so even you being around them while you go through menstruation it's not wise, it's quite risky, it's quite dangerous, see what I mean? So you don't open the door. You tell them, I'm fine, thank you, this and that, and politely and peacefully you move away from them. If you're a woman and you have been without a man sexually for a while, and now you're going through a transition in life that's quite painful, and suddenly these men who kind of handsome begin to DM you on Instagram, whatever, look at the timing. This is a trick to get you sexually involved with the wrong man that will either leave you behind as a single mom, or it will put you at risk because you are in the wrong crowd. And that will destroy your reputation, that will destroy your credibility also. So, because if you get involved with the wrong type of man at a later age in your life, you're not 15, 20, or 25 anymore. If you're a teenager and you end up with the wrong guys, okay, you're a teenager. Your sexuality just began. If you're in your 20s, okay, you're going through a lot of stuff, a lot of change in your life. But listen, if you're above 30 and you just don't regard the man you're with sexually as a woman, I'm sorry. Nobody's going to take that. If you were a teenager and you were exploited by an adult, people say, oh, the guy was a pedophile, the guy is harmful. Okay, that's different. But if you're 20 or 25, no man can just take advantage of you like that easily. You're an adult. So that means at some point you gave in. What I'm saying is, you, whether you're a woman or a man, you need to decline satanic doors. Too often we open satanic doors that are presented to us, and then we wonder why we're suddenly hindered and why things suddenly go wrong in our lives. We have to stop doing that. I don't care what your age is. Opening a satanic door is always a bad idea. Alright? Look, if you're a teenager and you're not 18 yet, and you fall for deception, guess what? You're a kid. Okay? But if you're above 20, I expect you to think a bit more wiser about stuff. If you're above 30 and you still easily fall for deception are obviously off. You have satanic doors internally that need to be closed. Simple as that. Look, don't open the door. I'm telling you, don't open the door. Keep agreeing with Christ.